before they doing it outside?
What's wrong with the front? It's a nice building.
That's what I'm saying.
I know, it's so pretty.
Yeah, why are we doing the front?
Maybe that's not even enough.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Peter Teitelbaum. I'm a member of the Town of Wareham Board of Selectmen. We're here today at this press conference to discuss plans regarding the public safety aspects of the opening of this recreational marijuana facility, the Verilife shop behind us. They've been in business for a couple of years now with medicinal marijuana. They're next up on the list to start selling recreational marijuana. And once that happens, we're still waiting for the final word from the state. We had thought we had a couple of firm dates, but we don't yet. But today what we're going to talk about is how we're going to get people to the shop, the plans that Verilife, our police chief John Walczek, his lieutenants Walter Correa and John Gerard have come up with to safely manage the getting of people to this facility. As you can see looking behind you, we're in a tight spot, you know, narrow streets, a village setting, and so it was paramount in the thinking of town officials and especially our chief and lieutenants to try to manage this well. So without any further ado, I'll turn it over to Chief Walczek to just say a few things, and then after that I think you will hear also from the lieutenants who were responsible largely for coming up with the plan.
Thank you. So at the end of the day, as the selectman said, there are a lot of concerns here. One of the major concerns to us is the entrance to the emergency room. A very busy emergency room, I might add. So we had to come up with some plans to deal with it. And parking concern has been working with Verilife and with the police department to come up with that plan. And I'm going to have Lieutenant Gerard outline those things we have coming up.
All right, first and foremost, we ask that anyone that's coming to visit Verilife when it does indeed open, they have to go to 3031 Cranberry Highway, the Waterways parking lot. There's going to be shuttle service to and from that location to this location. You will not be allowed to get into the venue without going through Waterways or that 3031 Cranberry Highway. You'll get a ticket to get in line, and then the shuttle will bring you here, drop you off. There'll be a line, both a line there and both a line here, depending on how many patrons show up. It is paramount that nobody tries to come to this location, as the chief touched on and Selectman Teitelbaum touched on. This area cannot handle a large influx of traffic. So the purpose of the shuttle service is to alleviate that. So you won't be able to walk up and jump in line here. You have to go through Waterways. With that being said, there's also probably going to be limits to how many people get through the facility on day one. So plan accordingly for that. As far as the parking situation, the parking lot will not open until 2 hours prior to the opening of this establishment. So for example, on day one when it opens, it's planning on opening at 6:30 in the morning. You will not be allowed to park in that parking lot prior to 5 o'clock in the morning. That's going to be the only day that we're not going to have a 2 hour prior opening of the parking lot. So you can't even come, to the parking lot prior to 5 in the morning. So we don't want to have a line there formed up. So like I said, plan accordingly and then come anytime after 5. And there's a contractor set up through Verilife to make sure that that gets done properly as far as getting your number in line and getting your shuttle to get here. Any questions? Yep. And again, 3031 Cranberry Highway, the Waterways parking lot is where you have to go to get your number and stuff.
Any estimates on how many people you think is going to show up?
Well, we've been in contact with both Leicester PD and Northampton, and we're expecting somewhere in the area of 1,000 to 2,000 people based on what they've told us, what they've had. I know that the Leicester chief has told us multiple times. I want to say the first 3 days they average almost 2,000 visitors trying to get into the parking lot and get into the establishment. So that's one of the things that we're looking at right now. So this venue, as you can see, is very small, so being able to handle a big influx like that isn't going to happen.
Chief, if I could, you touched on the ER here at Tobey. If there's going to be shuttle buses, what is your concern that the access to the ER would be affected?
The shuttle buses will be so controlled that it wouldn't be more than everyday traffic. The key, like Lieutenant Gerard said, was that there will be no walk-up traffic here. So you can't drop your friend off here and expect them to come in.
Gotcha.
they would have to take that shuttle back to the Waterways parking lot and they get vetted there. And we do have representatives of the hospital here. I have Craig Porcina and Maureen Boyle, representatives of South Coast Hospitals, if they want to address anything. But we feel like this is the best plan and the safest plan for the town of Wareham. And I have to thank Lieutenants Gerard and Correa for really their efforts on this. They've done an awful lot of work for this, and I appreciate their efforts.
How long is that going to stay in place, the shuttle service?
I'm thinking a minimum of 30 days that program will stay in place, and then we're going to revisit it as time moves on.
So eventually walk-up traffic will come here?
I can't say that yet, but I would say at least till maybe even longer, 60 days, that I could say that this is going to be this way. And again, we'll revisit it.
Well, right now we have discussed with Verilife. We had a definitive 30-day plan right now. It's using the parking that way, and then it'll be reassessed. Actually, the discussion was we would reassess it almost daily about the parking, but 30 days is the minimum that we're going to handle this parking the way we're going to handle it.
And Lieutenant or Chief or Peter, this is already an existing medical marijuana facility, and there hasn't been any real issues. I know you have a small parking lot out back.
None at all. We haven't had any issues.
No.
No, it's been very well managed from the town's perspective. This, by the way, is Shelley Stormo. She's the executive director of Verilife. So she's actually in charge of the rollout in here.
Shelley, let me ask you then, Shelley, what's your major concern? The police officers have addressed the traffic. Do you have something other than traffic issues?
No, so we're very excited to open up for adult use. We've worked really closely with the Wareham Police Department and the town officials. We've worked closely with the Cannabis Control Commission, and the Cannabis Control Commission as well has worked closely with the town to make sure we have the best plan and that the town's comfortable with our opening. We will be announcing once we receive our formal written approval, we will announce our official opening date. It's been a bit of a moving target, so we hope you understand that we will make that announcement when we're able.
And have you been in touch with Leicester and Northampton about what they went through when they first opened?
I've been in touch through the Commonwealth Dispensary Association with the operators of Leicester, and I think more importantly the chief has been up to visit and has been in constant contact with them. Thank you so much for coming.
Chief, Lieutenant, why Waterways? I mean, obviously the size of the parking lot.
This was the location that the lieutenants had come up with, and it's an off-site location, and the fact that we realize it's 3 miles away, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to minimize the impact of the area, is what we're trying to do.
That facility is able to take people that are coming there, parking there, filtering them. Well, one of the aspects that we found out, especially with Leicester, their parking lot wasn't exactly accommodating for the amount of vehicle traffic they had. To be able to, what they refer to as queuing people up in the parking lot. So that facility has the area to, 1, park a lot of cars, and 2, to queue people up or get people processed as they're kind of pulling into the lot so they don't back up onto the street. I guess in Leicester that was one of the biggest issues, was vehicles lining up prior to opening the lot and creating a bunch of backup and then people getting out of their vehicles and bothering some of the people in the neighborhood.
A big help for us was the fact that I physically went to Leicester PD and was with Chief Hurley and made observations there, and I've been in constant communication with the Northampton Police Department as well about their operation. And I spoke to Chief Hurley and Lieutenant Palmer from Northampton as late as last night. So I think it was actually a big help to go up there and see how they were operating and how things were moving. So we're hoping for a smooth transition here, a smooth operation. We realize it's uncharted territory.
Are there any traffic concerns for Cranberry Highway?
You know, we have traffic concerns every day there in the summer with the Waterways because it's a busy place, but we feel that venue is best to handle the amount of traffic, am I right?
Correct.
And I would imagine it's beneficial that Waterways isn't open at this time of year.
Correct.
It is very helpful, yeah. And we reached out to them and asked them for assistance, and you know, they stepped up. So we have alternative spots if we had to, but that's what we're advertising now.
Sir, read on under Wareham Week that you will try to promote Wareham businesses on Main Street by giving out discounts to those coming to shop, to going to eat there. Was that your plan or something that you spoke with businesses on Main Street?
Sure. So we've, our goal is to support other local businesses. So we're hoping that folks will make a choice while they're here on site, waiting to get into the dispensary, to visit some of the local restaurants. We have some amazing restaurants within like a 3-minute walking distance. So if they bring their receipt in, they'll get a little bit of a discount on their order for supporting our local businesses.
How long would that continue?
Again, right now we're running it probably for the first month, and then we'll reassess. All of this is, once more stores get open, we're not going to have the same issues we're going to have when we're the first one on the South Coast to open. So as this becomes more of an errand for people and becomes more normalized in the state of Massachusetts, we're not going to have the people management problem that we will have in the beginning.
Do you have a cap on how much somebody can buy?
Yes, we will have a cap. That'll be listed on leafly.com as well as on our website. So it'll be kind of a moving target as we determine how quickly things are moving out of the building.
And the special hours are only for Tuesday and Wednesday?
For the first 2 days of opening. So again, whether that's, we will announce that once we get our letter approving our commencement. Thank you.
Was there any thought of doing reservations at Salem for the gym?
Not at this time.
And if I could have Greg and Maureen come to the front. They're from Tobey, South Coast Hospitals, and if you have any questions for them.
Our current statement is just that we really encourage the public to adhere to all these parking and driving, suggested traffic routes. Our primary focus is keeping our ED unobstructed, and that people can still get to their doctor's appointments and their appointments for surgery and such. That's our primary concern. The police department has been phenomenal help in helping us get the word out. So we just ask the public to obviously, be a partner in keeping our patients safe so we can still give them the best care possible.
And I'd just like to add that we ask that anybody that is coming to the site to really pay close attention to the instructions that have been set forth today. We've been working with police officials all along in planning for this, and we will continue to work with them throughout this process. If anybody is trying to sneak onto property or into parking areas, they will be dealt with. And we offer our thanks to all the officials that have helped us thus far.
Are you satisfied with the layout plan?
At this point, it's an evolving circumstance. We've made all the right plans, put all the right plans forth. It's going to be an evolving circumstance, and we will mitigate as needed going forward.
Are you guys going to hire any additional security over there?
So we will be doubling our security force, for a period of time, and we'll also have a parking services company that we deal with to screen patients and visitors coming in, and staff will be coming in. They'll be monitored by security personnel as they arrive to make sure that we're taking the appropriate spaces. So anybody that's coming to the facility to try to utilize for parking for Verilife will not be allowed on the premises.
Can we get the spelling of your names, whoever spoke?
Yeah, we'll get those to you.
Yeah. Boyle, B-O-Y-L-E, Maureen, M-A-U-R-E-E-N, Public Information Officer.
Craig Forcina, last name F-O-R-C-I-N-A, Director of Safety, Security, and Emergency Management for South Coast Health.
Okay, and the chief and the selectmen, you just spell their name.
Lieutenant John Gerard, G-E-R-A-R-D. Yes.
Walter Correa, C-O-R-R-E-I-A.
Don't forget Shelley.
He's actually got some information about some of the signage.
One other thing that we wanted to cover would be the usage of signboards. We're going to have it strategic locations around the town to help guide the people to the waterways location. So we felt that was important to try to get the message out that way as well.
Quick question to any of you three chiefs or lieutenants. For someone who does try to walk here and try to sneak in line, what are they looking at? What are their
They'll just be told they can't go in.
So basically what will happen is there's someone that comes here that walks to the premises.
Right.
They will be directed to the shuttle service. They'll actually have to take the shuttle to Waterways.
They have to have a ticket, right?
They have to have a ticket.
Okay.
The ticket is paramount.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Can I also add that our medical patients will continue to have access to our parking lot? So medical patients will have to show their card to the officer at the end of the drive, or to our security officer at the end of the driveway in order to get access to our parking lot. So we'll have uninterrupted service for our medical patients as well. So that's very important to note because they're a priority and have been since day one.
Shelley, spell your last name, please.
Sure, Stormo, S-T-O-R-M-O. Shelley. Thank you.
And you are?